It's touchdown time in Texas for McKinney boys.
El Dorado Motors, Bill Joplin's, Pet Loeb Toyota.
You wanted to know about Calvin Maxwell? We'll get some of that.
The Zone, Greenville, Chrysler.
Looking for Fuller wide open at the 10-5 to Jeff Fuller. It is touchdown time in Texas. What a game! Woo!
Now, let's start the pregame show. Here's Monty Walker and Brandon Helms.
Good evening and welcome to Memorial Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. You know, will it come down to the 8-second mark again tonight? This was a game for the past 2 years. In 2004, it came down to Chris Wimbish's last-second touchdown. The only time that the Lions led in that entire game was the last 8 seconds of the football game last year. Same thing, except it was McKinney in the lead. And a last-second throw from Kel Presley down to a receiver down around the 10-yard line set up the go-ahead game-winning field goal by Evan Coachman, who is still a player in tonight's football game. He doesn't do the kicking duties anymore, but he was responsible. His toe actually was responsible for booting that ball through the upright, but it was more Mr. Davis, Antoine Davis, who was the holder, who had to bring that ball down, put it on the tee, and that was the actual story in that football game. But tonight could be the same way. These two teams seem very evenly matched, Brandon.
It's one thing you've said before. You look at what they do on paper, they're very similar. In fact, even if you want to look right at the records, they're pretty similar, although McKinney had the unfortunate draw of getting North early in the district schedule, so they're already at two losses overall, one in the district. Meanwhile, Frisco itself is 2-0. You know, there's a lot of similarities between these teams. You know, I mean, they're the old high schools within their city, and if you even want to take the scope beyond, you've got two boom towns in Collin County, the two original schools. The difference is McKinney has a little bit more tradition. But, I mean, if you want to go back to the last 2 years, like you've said, I mean, it's been a great one. Last year, McKinney really needed to win against Frisco to keep their playoff hopes going. And they looked like they were on the verge of doing that until they got the heart broken earlier. And then if you want to go the year before, it was the same thing with Frisco. They thought they had one in the bag, and all of a sudden Chris Wimbish comes up big. I mean, if you want to – I mean, there's just so many parallels here to just how good these teams are. Same non-district record. And then, you know, I've been thinking about this one for a while. If you want to look at who's going to get that third playoff spot out of the district, it's probably going to be the winner of this game.
It might even be the second spot in the district. And you talk about the tradition of Frisco, and they have been obviously a lower-level school for a long time, finally making their way up to the same level with the growth and population growing that you were talking about earlier. They have been around a long time. Frisco Raccoons are 461 wins, 310 losses, and 29 ties. So they go way back as well. McKinney celebrated their 500th UIL win a couple of weeks ago, and Frisco is only 39 away.
Yeah, again, a lot of parallels, and that's what you're going to find here in the older high schools of this area. And Frisco goes back just as long as McKinney has playing football, and their two are having their numbers whittled away by new schools.
John Leidy down on the sidelines. It's finally football season. It really feels like football weather down there, John.
Yes, guys, for the first week this football season, it is actually cool. That is surprising for Texas, though. Game time temperature is going to be low 70s, 72, 73. By the end of the game, that temperature is going to drop to about the mid-50s. That may be a factor at the end of the game. McKinney comes in tonight wearing their road jerseys with their gold helmets, white jerseys, and royal blue pants. Frisco's wearing their all blue, a little bit lighter than what McKinney wears, white numbers, and blue helmets.
All right. Thank you very much, John. The royal blue of the Frisco Raccoons and the navy blue of the McKinney Lions. We have the Senior Spotlight and the Coaches Show coming up in a moment. Stay around. We'll be back on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. Brandon, talking about keys to this football game for McKinney versus Frisco, it ought to be a tight game. Everyone expects this one to come down to the wire, just like the last two have, the last 2 years. I think keys to the game, one of my keys would be the turnover ratio. McKinney historically has dominated the turnover ratio and always had a big – and even in 2004, were a plus 20 in the turnover department. Last year, not as big in that, obviously not a plus 20, but somewhere close to that. Right now, McKinney is even. They've turned it over 8 times, and they've got 8 turnovers. So I guess on the flip side of that, Frisco is trailing in the turnover department. They're a -4. They have thrown 3 interceptions, and they fumbled 4 times for a -7. And then they have recovered 4 fumbles and intercepted 7 passes. So they're a +4. So Frisco has the advantage in the turnover department here tonight.
Well, and that's one thing that McKinney's got to get going. That they've always prided themselves on their defense. They're not doing as well as they have this year as they have in past years. But it's just a matter of making sure your defense plays well. And the biggest influence the defense has on a game in terms of plays, big plays, is the turnovers.
And the captains are at the midfield stripe. They're about to do the coin toss. As Frisco will have their all royal blue uniforms on, the royal blue pants, jerseys, and helmets, and white numerals. Of course, John Leidy told us earlier that McKinney's wearing their white jerseys with their navy pants with the gold stripe down the side of the pants and the gold helmets with the navy block M on the helmet and the blue face mask. The coin toss is in the air, and it now has hit the ground. The referees for tonight are Wayne Chaplin, the umpires Gary Birch, the head linesman Keith Laurent, the line judge Steve Bell, and the back judge Joe Stanley. Brandon, did you see who? I think the Lions. The Lions won the toss and elected to receive, is what Jared Voigt is telling us here. Jared was a former Lion, and he was in that 2004 game that came down to the last 8 seconds, and we'll probably have a chance to talk to him about that game at halftime, as the Lions look like they're really, really excited down there in that big helmet tunnel. As I haven't seen this much emotion from the McKinney Lions team so far yet this season as I'm seeing right now.
The McKinney Lions.
The Lions are now on the field. Brandon, you were talking about some keys to your thoughts for keys to the game.
Well, we established the turnover margin as the first one, and I think the second one's got to be established the run. That's what McKinney's bread and butter almost since day one of UIL play, and probably even further beyond that has been run the football. And you've got 2 guys who can do it in Calvin Maxwell and Eddie Morgan. One of them goes to a BCS conference when he's done with his high school career. And if you can't run the ball on this Frisco defense, it's going to be a long day. Zane Alcorn can pass, but if you force McKinney to pass, you're going to do well as a defense. Establish the run.
Well, we're going to take a quick timeout as we're just about prepared for the national anthem. You're listening to McKinney ISD Football on 97.5 KLAK. We're just about prepared for the national anthem. We thought we were going to break during the anthem, but we come back and we still have not had that yet. Let's go over the district standings coming into tonight's game. Of course, McKinney North won last night, 55-16, and what a rout that was. McKinney North looking like really the team to beat in District 9 4A and maybe even in the entire North Texas region. So McKinney North moves on to 3-0 in district. Right behind them is Lake Dallas at 2-0, and Frisco here tonight, 2-0. McKinney, having been beat by McKinney North, is 1-1. Frisco Centennial 1-1, or actually 1-2 now with the loss last night. Little Elm, the Colony, and McKinney Boyd have yet to win a game in district. Also, let's look at, we talk about, the Frisco program, and they have a deep tradition of winning, and they haven't had a lot of success as of late. They have not made the playoffs since 1999 when they were in Class 3A. They did, however, go to Division I, and were by district. They did defeat Lake Dallas 21-20, and that's the last playoff game that Frisco won. They lost to Aledo that year, then the very next game, 17-10. But 1999 was the last year that they were in the playoffs, and conversely the last year in Class 3A as well. In 2000, they went 3-7 and then 1-9. 2002 bumped it up to 6-4, and then fell back off in 2003 to 3-7. 2004 were 4-6. Ronnie Mullins, the head coach at that time, said, "You know what? I think I'm going to be the assistant athletic director," and that's what he did. And last year, Vance Gibson came in and had a little resurgence of the Frisco program as they go up to 6-4 last year, and now are sitting at 4-1. So obviously, Vance Gibson, the head coach, has had a positive influence on this program because they've done nothing but win since they got here. Vance Gibson is 53 years old, the Frisco head coach. They had 90 applicants for this job last year, but Gibson won out. He is 10-5 here at Frisco. Overall, 14-11. His only other head coaching job was at Sherman back in 1984. He was 4-6 there. He has high school plus college experience, 103 wins, 52 losses, and 1 tie. He was 89, 41-1 as an assistant coach at Howard Payne, 3 conference titles in 13 years. His biggest influence in coaching was Tom Kimbrough and John Clark, both of Plano ISD, and his hometown is Sherman, Texas. The Lions are lined up to receive tonight to open this football game. They will move right to left as the Frisco Raccoons will kick off moving left to right. Kicking off for Frisco will be Anthony Naughton. Back deep for the Lions will be Calvin Maxwell and Eddie Morgan. And we are underway as the kick will go to Eddie Morgan in the near corner. He digs it at the 10-yard line, cuts it up towards midfield, and is down right there at the 10-yard line. So nothing doing on the return for Eddie Morgan, and it'll be 1st and 10 McKinney.
Play was made on the outside edge by Matt Kelly. The kick was toward the sideline, the near sideline to us. And they looked like they were setting up the wedge. McKinney set up the wedge right at the hash marks, and that almost let a free Matt Kelly come in. Eddie Morgan tried to outrun him, but Kelly just went down and grabbed him by the ankles. Now McKinney starting inside their own 20.
Shotgun formation. Alcorn has Maxwell beside him. Alcorn rolls right, throws out that way. It's almost intercepted. He was trying to hit Matt Reapin out there, and it was almost picked by Denzel Brown, the junior cornerback. He really jumped the route, but it was knocked down and incomplete.
Well, he jumped the route because it was a play that's long and setting up. An out play doesn't need to be that long. It doesn't need to be a rollout like it was with basically Zane Alcorn looking the receiver the whole way, especially on an out. If that were picked off, it's an easy touchdown.
Everybody comes left on this formation. 2 receivers to the near side. This is going to be a toss to Calvin Maxwell up the middle, who's going to fight and surge somehow out across the 15 to the 17-yard line. And how does a kid, 5'6", 150 pounds, move a pile like that?
Well, he was assisted by the offensive line. They were helping to move part of the defense, too, because they weren't able to get a clear hold on him because it was a very tight hole. So the offensive line kept their push going forward, and that allowed Maxwell, who didn't have room to squirt through, but also help him lower his shoulder and keep moving the pile as well.
We need to give you the starting lineup for the McKinney Lions, and we'll do that right after this play on 3rd down and 3. And it is going to be Alcorn handing off up the middle, and then Calvin Maxwell has the first down. Here's your McKinney Lions starting offense.
Maxwell on the carry is brought down by number 2.
Alex Limbush, left tackle. Bankley, center. Joe Ariola, right guard. Colin Barr, right tackle. Josh Aiken, tight end. Daniel Brush, receiver. Greg Miller, receiver. Ron Washington, fullback. Alan Maxwell, running back. Eddie Morgan, running back. Zane Alcorn, quarterback.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the McKinney Lions, moving right to left. Just underway here at Memorial Stadium in Frisco, Texas. 2 receivers to either side for McKinney. Alcorn is in shotgun, rolls near side, wants to pump, now throws down the field, has Daniel Brash, and it is overthrown and incomplete. Here is your Frisco Raccoons starting defense.
Alcorn's pass intended for number 40.
Shelby Fair, defensive end. Brock Chalker, tackle. Roberto Martinez, defensive nose. Chris Hornick, nickelback. Josh Whitefield, middle linebacker. Adrian Hedrick, middle linebacker. Jason Mefford, Sam linebacker. Michael Midford, cornerback. Corbin Adams, free safety. Curtis Stransky, safety.
2nd down and 10 for McKinney with a 10:44 left to go here early in the first quarter. Matt Reapin will split out wide right. David Grayson comes near side. Calvin Maxwell in the slot. Empty backfield for McKinney. two other receivers will go right in the slot. Calvin Maxwell in motion will go behind Alcorn now and stand beside him, and he's going to get the hand. They both know Alcorn keeps it, and for a moment was in jail and somehow escapes and does gain a little bit of room, a little bit of yardage out of nothing. There for a moment I thought that he was going to hand it to Maxwell, and then he kept it somehow. And Brandon, that really looked ugly.
Was it a busted play or was it a planned play? I'm not sure, because it almost looked like it was supposed to be a direct snap to Maxwell because he was trying to take it right away, and Alcorn wasn't giving it up right away, and then Maxwell started running to the McKinney sideline. Then Alcorn kept it and ran to the Frisco sideline. It was a very odd play.
3rd down and 7 for McKinney. 10:07 on the first quarter clock. Two receivers to the right side. This is an offset I formation. Fake the hand. Alcorn throws it down the field. Has his man, and is caught by Nick Stardy right at the first down marker. It's going to be very close. Stardy came into the game with 5 catches for 127 yards. Give him his 6th catch there, and that might be a big one. John Lighty's right down there on the sideline. Is it a first down?
Yeah, guys, I think it's going to be a little bit short. He was tackled right at the first down marker, but they marked him about a half a yard short.
Well, that brings up an interesting 4th and short here, but they're on their own side of the field, and they'll elect to punt here. The McKinney Lions, that is, will elect to punt, and that's what Coach Todd McVeigh talked about last week. They were in that situation where they were so close, 4th and short, but they were on their own side of the field. They really couldn't do anything about it. John Scoggins comes into the game late. Alcorn, good snap, and end-over-end kick's going to bounce at the 40 in Frisco territory and get a great roll down to the 25-yard line. So Frisco will set up shop at their own 25, moving left to right with 9:49 left to go in the first quarter, no score.
Well, last week the punting game really didn't do any favors to McKinney against North because they were getting punts off of 33, 25, things like that, so really making it a short field for the offense. This time, a nifty punt of 43 yards, and what works with Zane Alcorn is he gets that little running start, but he depends so heavily on the bounce. That little running start allows the coverage team to get down there, not wanting to field the ball for the returner because it's a low liner, and a great punt of 43 yards.
Two receivers to either side. This is going to be the quarterback, Graney, who's going to hand off to Brogan Funderburg, and you'll hear his name all night long. He crosses the 30-yard line to the 31. Eddie Morgan makes the stop. Brogan Funderburg came into the game needing 5 yards for 1,000, and he got it on first down there. We'll give you the McKinney Lions starting defense right after this play. Actually, we'll give you the Frisco Raccoons starting offense right after this play. It'll be 2nd down and 4, 9:22 left to go first quarter, no score. This is going to be Graney, the quarterback, handoff to Funderburg. Once again, a big hold on the right side, 40. Flag down, 45-50. 45-40, cuts it back inside 30. He could go 25 and down at the 20-yard line, inside the 20. And this one might come back. Let's give you real quick the Frisco Raccoons starting offense.
Brought down by number 45.
Daniel Hale, offensive tackle. Chris Mills, offensive guard. Stephen Couchelle, center. Keith Barker, guard. Brock Chalker, offensive tackle. Josh Wakefield, tight end. Evan Coachman, H-back. Michael Mitchell, wide receiver. Brogan Funderburg, none but Colin Graney, quarterback.
Well, they have waved off the flag, so it will stand. The ball will go down to the 18-yard line. And I'm telling you what, Funderburg, he doesn't have massive speed, but he's Chase Barrett plus 10 pounds of muscle, and he just had a big hole to run through, and he found the open seam. So down to the 18 goes Frisco. 9:04 left to go first quarter, and Funderburg's going to get it again right through the middle, and not a whole lot doing there, but he does get down to the 14-yard line. Daniel Welch makes the stop. Here's your McKinney Lions starting defense.
Nathan McKinney, defensive end. Matt Steinberg, defensive tackle. Orestes, defensive end. Josh Lane, defensive end. Daniel Brash, outside linebacker. LeRon Washington, linebacker. Danny Welch, middle linebacker.
We're trying.
Damon Moreno, outside linebacker. Andy Martinek, cornerback. Calvin Maxwell, cornerback. Eddie Morgan, free safety.
8:32 on the first quarter clock. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Graney, the quarterback, wants to run the option, hands it off actually to Funderburg, and he makes his way down to the 10-yard line. Major McGee makes the stop for McKinney, and that'll bring up a crucial 3rd down here right at the 10-yard line. And it has been all Brogan Funderburg, and you understand why. He has 995 yards coming in, 10 touchdowns, and leads the entire area in rushing.
Well, they don't have any other options. I mean, they're really a one-dimensional offense, which is why you need your defensive line to get penetration on the offensive line.
2 tight end set. They're going to hand off Funderburg. Big hole up the middle, but closed. But somehow he squeaks through for enough yardage to pick up the first down to the 5-yard line. So it'll be first and goal for Frisco right at the 5.
Well, he's got 70 yards already and 5 carries.
And they do nothing but hand off to Brogan Funderburg.
Well, their leading receiver's got 15 receptions, to put it in perspective. It's almost a stark difference from last year.
You're talking about Evan Coachman, 15 catches, 255 yards. And double tight set once again, and Graney's going to hand off to Brogan Thunderberg, who jumps initially and is pushed back by that McKinney Lion defense. He's going to gain maybe a half yard inside the 5 to about the 4-yard line. This is actually will be the 6th play of the drive. With 7:07 left to go on the first quarter clock, no score at Memorial Stadium in Frisco, Texas.
A 6-play drive with 6 runs by Thunderberg.
Graney, your man under.
2 receivers to either side, Denzel Brown to the right. And they're going to fake it to Brogan Thunderberg, and Graney is going to run the bootleg into the end zone. And it is a touchdown for the Frisco Raccoons early on. 6:47 left to go in the first quarter. 6-0 Frisco, and they did just what you expect. You run Brogan Funderburg, and you run him, and you run him, and you run him, and then you fake it to him and run the bootleg. I mean, that's textbook football.
Well, the entire defensive unit minus the cornerback on this side bid for it. When it gets results like that, you know it was a good play. That's an understatement.
It will be Anthony Naughton on for the extra point. This one's high and good enough. 7-0, Frisco in the lead. 6:47 left to go first quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Lonnie Walker along with Brandon Helms. 7-0. Frisco has taken the lead here with 6:47 left to go in the first. It was a 5-yard touchdown by Colin Graney on the quarterback keeper. The bootleg around the right side as they ran Brogan Funderburg on every play and then faked it to him. And the old quarterback bootleg is good enough from 5 yards out for the score, and it's 7-0 Frisco. Here's the kick by Naughton. It's a low line drive kick. It's going to be taken by Eddie Morgan at the 10-yard line. He scoots his way through for a second, fights out of one tackle, spins out of another one at the 30, down at the 32-yard line. I thought for a moment that it was going to be Superman and spin out of about 3 tackles. But Frisco Raccoons finally take him down.
Well, he slowed down just enough that allowed the pursuit to catch up with you. And sometimes one of the best things as defenders, if you can't make the tackle, just make sure you slow them down so someone else can get there to do it. And that's what the Frisco coverage team essentially did. You'll never see a coach teach that. Obviously, that's not a good way to go. But in the heat of the moment, if you can slow them down, you'll do yourself a world of good.
So McKinney moving right to left, shotgun formation, going to hand off. They're going to fake the hand. Alcorn throws it down the field and way over the head of his intended receiver. And he was trying to hit Brett Helt coming out of the backfield, but it was simply just thrown about a foot over his head.
Well, it was thrown over his head, but it was almost equidistant between Helt and Greg Miller. So I'm not sure what the play. I mean, it's the McKinney offense doesn't look smooth right now.
They showed a lot of emotion. They showed a lot of emotion coming out of the locker room, more so than I have seen so far this year, but it's not equaling on the football field here. Here's a toss right side, Calvin Maxwell. He has the seam up to the 50 and down at the 44-yard line inside Frisco territory, and that's the biggest positive yardage that McKinney has had so far tonight as they move it right on into Frisco territory.
Well, it's a 22-yard run by Maxwell, just basically off tackle to the right side. They were able to cross midfield, and Maxwell was running with a whole host of guys. A couple of them were blockers on the outside that allowed him to snuck through, and they were hanging with him until they got right to about the 50-yard line.
First down and 10 for McKinney. This is going to be a handoff. Maxwell again. Alcorn keeps it. 45, trying to find the near corner. Can't do it. It's wrestled out of bounds at the 43-yard line, so not much of a gain there. Michael Ray Mitchell makes the stop, but it is a gain of about maybe 1.5 yards. Let's check down with John Lighty. We hadn't talked to him in a little bit. John, what's the mood down there on the sidelines?
The mood is actually very exciting down here. The coaches have done a great job this week keeping the McKinney Lions' heads up. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks, John. Second down and 8. 6:04 left to go in the first quarter. 7-0. Frisco on top on a quarterback keeper around the right side. McKinney has the ball here. Toss back. That's Calvin Maxwell fighting his way, and he's going to meet a brick wall of that Frisco Raccoon defense up to the 42-yard line. A gain of 1. So it'll bring up third down and long here with 5:51 left to go in the first quarter.
Unlike North, this McKinney team doesn't fare well in third and long situations. You're likely to see a pass coming up from Zane Alcorn, but that's, again, not their strength. So far today, he's only 1 of 4 passing for 6 yards. And remember, on the last third down that didn't work for him on the last drive was a pass that came up half a yard short.
Alcorn looking downfield. Has all the time in the world. Now he's a little bit under pressure. Now he wants to run up to the 40. He's going to be close to the first down and has it at the 32-yard line and spins down to the 31. So a great run by Zane Alcorn. A heads-up play. He had all the time in the world back behind the line of scrimmage to throw it to someone, but found that nobody was open, so he ran around the near side and got the first down.
Well, and he got the extra yardage to make it a sure first down by lowering his shoulder. I really like Zane's toughness out of the quarterback position. He's not afraid to run it, and he's one of the things he doesn't shy away. He'll lower his shoulder.
Remember last year, it was not Zane Alcorn that was quarterbacking this team. It was Ryan Packard in this game last year. Under center goes Alcorn, hands off Maxwell. Big hole initially up the middle, but he's going to be brought down at the 27-yard line by A.J. Hendricks, the linebacker. That hole closed immediately.
Well, that's what your linebackers have to do, and that's what Frisco did. There's a big hole, and as soon as Maxwell hit the hole, the linebackers shed their blocks and bore down on Maxwell. It's a very good play.
Second down and 7. 4:32 left to go, first quarter, 7-0 Frisco. Shotgun. Alcorn wants to run, and he has 6 Frisco Raccoons right in his face. One of them being David Cook, the actual nose guard. And Alcorn goes down for a loss, but it'll take it back to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, so again, back to a third and long situation. Alcorn lost 3 on that play. So far today, they're 2 of 3 from third downs.
Nick Stardy brings in the play. He will come split out to the near side, far left. Matt Reapin split out far right. 2 other receivers in the slot. Calvin Maxwell in the backfield. Shotgun formation. Alcorn gets it, looks down the field, throws, and it's going to be a short hop to his receiver, Matt Reapin, who says he made the catch, but the referee is going to say incomplete. That'll bring up fourth down right at the 30-yard line. So an interesting spot on the field for a 4th and 10 here.
Well, it's too long for a field goal for McKinney. But too close to punt it. But the down doesn't make it really, the distance doesn't make it a really conducive 4th down try.
Yeah, really in a situation here. You don't see this a whole lot, but it is 4th and 10 at the Frisco 30, and they're going to go ahead and punt this one away and try to pin it in the corner.
Well, let's watch for a fake.
Alcorn is back, and he gets it, and he is going to punt it away. Tries to hit that corner and boots it down around the 12-yard line. It goes out of bounds at about the 12, and usually the officials come up and mark this up a little bit. But nope, they're going to mark it right at the 12-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the Frisco 12-yard line. And McKinney has looked fairly well on offense so far tonight, but have had to punt both times.
Well, this one's going to skew the average a little bit. His first punt was 43 yards. This one only 18, but it pins Frisco deep. Not as deep as they would have liked. But now if you look back to the last drive, Frisco can score in a hurry.
1st and 10, Frisco ball.
Have to stop Funderburg.
Denzel Brown split out wide to the near side. 2 tight ends set for Frisco. Funderburg in the backfield. They're going to fake the hand. Now they're going to give it to him running right tackle, and he is caught in the backfield or right at the line of scrimmage. A great play by Coestas, who came into the game with 18 tackles. Give him another one there for sure. 3:33 left to go first quarter, 7-0. Frisco on top.
They're going to need more of that penetration on the defensive side to stop Funderburg. A gain of about 2.5 on the play, but only because Coestas came through the line and basically got him from behind. Once again, the Frisco offensive line got good penetration on that play.
2 receivers at either side, and once again, this is a double tight set with an H-back, and they're going to hand off. Brogan Funderburg running right tackle again, a big hole. Crosses the 20, flipped end over end to the 22-yard line. Daniel Brash and LaRon Washington come up to make the stop, along with Prescott Mack, who's in the area. That's going to be very close to the first down. John Leidy, give us a spot.
Guys, that's going to be about a yard short on this play. Back up to y'all.
All right, 3rd down and 1, we'll call it, from the 21-yard line.
I like the scoreboard better. It said 3rd and 11.
Yeah. 3rd and 1, the big play here, and Funderburg gets 1 yard, very easy. So let's see what they do here. This is going to be Graney handing off to Funderburg, running right guard, has the first down up to the 24-yard line. And Funderburg, he is, if you've seen Chase Barrett, and we made this comparison earlier, he is Chase Barrett plus about 10 pounds. He's a big kid. He's not extremely fast, but he's fast enough to get through the hole and create some havoc for that defensive front.
Well, and the other thing is he has extraordinary vision. He's able to see the field very well.
1st down and 10 for Frisco at their own 24-yard line. This is going to be a handoff left tackle running Funderburg again, and this time he has another 6 yards or so out to the 32-yard line. Not a lot of people have been successful this year in stopping Brogan Funderburg. Again, 995 yards coming in, 154 carries. He's well over that. I mean, he's well on his way to another 100-yard game tonight, and he may have just passed it.
Well, 10 carries, 90 yards. I mean, that tells you the whole story. In fact, so far, all the offensive yards have been him except for the 4-yard touchdown.
2nd down and 3 with a minute 27 left to go in the first quarter. 7-0 Frisco. And handoff Funderburg, running right tackle. He's met at the 34-yard line, close to another first down. Daniel Welch makes the stop, and that is going to be almost the exact amount of yardage that he needed to pick up that first down. He gets up a little bit gimpy. He comes off the field here for a moment with his helmet off.
Well, McKinney's starting to hit him hard. I mean, he's been getting the yards, but at the end, McKinney's been punishing him for it. They're finishing the play very well if they could just start hitting him a little bit earlier.
So coming in to take his place in the backfield will be A.J. Hendricks, who
Time to
stands
take advantage of this.
7 yards deep. He gets the handoff here, big hole up the middle, and he crosses the 40 out to the 42-yard line. So whether it be Funderburg or A.J. Hendricks, they pick up 6 yards on first down, maybe even 7.
Well, that's one of the things I said, that Funderburg was blessed with the good offense, or with the good vision, but this Frisco offensive line is very good.
2nd down and 4, under a minute here in the first quarter. 7-0 Frisco on top. One receiver to the near side, one to the far side. This is going to be a handoff to Hendricks, running left tackle. A big block from his tackle. He's got enough for the first down out to the 46-yard line. Daniel Welch and LaRon Washington make the stop for the Lions, the 2 linebackers working side by side, but the chains keep moving for Frisco. Clock stops at 24.8 seconds while they move the sticks, and now it'll start running again. So the ball at the 47-yard line, we'll call it. Just shy of midfield. Frisco moving left to right. Graney, the quarterback, under center, is going to hand off right tackle. Funderburg back into the game, hops one defender down inside McKinney territory to the 46-yard line. He's going to be stopped by Damon Marino, and that's the end of the first quarter. Frisco on top, 7-0 early. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium, Frisco, Texas. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, moving right to left as Frisco, who's on top 7-0 here. The beginning of the second quarter. Brogan Funderburg has been the story of the game. He gets the handoff here, running left tackle, and it's going to be close to a first down. But, hey, the flag for the first time tonight, thrown at the line of scrimmage.
Not the first time. The other one was waved off. I still contend there was an illegal block on that long Funderburg play.
Officially, the first flag.
And it's a holding against Frisco.
Good news.
And right now, that could be the thing that's going to – because Frisco is getting about 5 to 6 yards on every play. I mean, through the first quarter, Funderburg, 12 carries, 99 yards. So this will bring it back to roughly 3rd and 14, or rather 2nd and 14. So that's out of their 6-yard average.
He is the workhorse on this team, no doubt about it. Brogan Funderburg. He will single-handedly, along with that offensive line, just try to run you over, and that's what they try to do here. They don't make any bones about it. They just try to run you over with what they have. But they don't make a lot of mistakes, but they make one here. Here's another handoff. Brogan Funderburg, left tackle, gets a big block, trying to find the outside corner, and does for a moment, and is going to be close to a first down. Daniel Brash makes the stop, but not after Funderburg gets his way out to the 46-yard line, inside Lion territory.
Number 8, Andy Mortain, also in on that tackle.
Another 9-yard carry there. Puts him at 108 yards.
They'll make it actually the 45-yard line in Lion territory. 11-10 left to go second quarter. Splitting out wide right is Joshua Schuler. One man comes to the near side. Funderburg in the backfield. Colin Graney, the quarterback, under center. Is going to roll right side, handoff Funderburg, right tackle. And he will have the first down and more inside the 40 down to the 36-yard line. And it is basically simple. It's a belly dive to the right, it's a belly dive to the left, and that's it.
Yeah, and right now this McKinney defensive line is just getting pounded. And it's just another 9-yard gain.
And winded a little bit is Brogan Funderburg. As you can imagine, he'll come off the field, and A.J. Hendricks makes his way back into the game at tailback. But as we saw a moment ago, that doesn't make a whole lot of difference because they like to do what they like to do, and that's hand the ball off and get 6 yards. They do it here again, this time up the middle to A.J. Hendricks. Makes one defender miss, and he didn't get 6 yards. He doesn't get 7 yards. He gets 8 yards on first down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
I mean, that plays a good illustration. I mean, the only time he's making moves is once he steps beyond the line of scrimmage. And if you're not even getting touched by the time you get to the line of scrimmage, then that means your offensive line is getting tremendous penetration. Or not penetration, tremendous push. The McKinney defensive line getting no penetration.
Second down and 3 at the McKinney 28-yard line. Handoff. A.J. Hendricks running left tackle has the first down at the 25-yard line. Just shy of the 25, actually, in between the 25 and the 26. 9:53 left to go in the second quarter, and at some point, McKinney Lions defense is going to have to come up and make a stop or even try to get a turnover.
That's what we talked about in the pregame. I mean, a turnover would go huge here. This would be where about McKinney has gotten the ball on their first couple drives, to be around this area.
Frisco has turned the ball over 7 times this season, 4 by the way of fumble and 3 by the way of interception. Handoff, A.J. Hendricks up the middle is going to be stopped after a couple of yards. Major McGee makes the stop. The ball will rest at the 23-yard line. Again, inside McKinney territory. And look at this drive for the Frisco Raccoons. This will be the 13th play of the drive, which started way back at their own 12-yard line.
Well, right now, Major McGee got in the backfield and made that tackle there. He's about the only one getting penetration, but he's not getting separation from his blocker. He did on that last play.
Tight end to the right. One man in the backfield, Brogan Funderburg. They're going to hand off on the end-around reverse inside the 20 to the 15, and that's going to be Evan Coachman, who's going to be very close to the first down. Coachman, the H-back, came around from the left side, took the pitch.
It looked like a shuttle pass.
But it was backwards.
It's not a pass. It's a run.
But Coachman, interestingly enough, was the kicker last year who actually booted through that field goal that broke the hearts of a lot of Lions fans and a lot of Lions players.
Yeah, that kicked him out of the playoffs.
But he returns not as the kicker but as the H-back, and he'll stand in a 2 tight end set here. And Graney's going to hand off Funderburg, met at the line of scrimmage and push back. A nice play there. Tyler Rogers comes up and makes the stop, and that was a huge, huge play for the Lions. That could be one of those plays that changes the momentum in this football game.
Well, it's the first time that Frisco didn't get a conversion on third down. We'll see how much faith they have in their kicker here because they're keeping the offense on as the quarterback Graney looks to the sideline. And I think they're going for it on fourth here, Monty. They may not have a lot of faith in the kicking game.
Well,
of course, when you got Funderburg.
You have Brogan Funderburg, you can run on 4th and 1 all day long, especially in somebody else's territory. And they're going to hand off to him. Now they're going to fake it on the quarterback keeper again. And he's going to throw down the field to Coachman at the 5. And they're into the end zone. It's touchdown Frisco Raccoons. And what a tremendous play call that was by Vance Gibson. He basically faked the bootleg, rolled Evan Coachman, the H-back, out into the flats, the left-handed quarterback flipped it to him on the near side. Coachman skipped a couple of defenders into the end zone.
It's almost unfair to Funderburg. He's the majority of the drive, and for the second straight drive, he doesn't get to do anything on the scoreboard.
Once again, Coachman is really kicking the Lions in the face. And here's the extra point. And it's good. 14-0, Frisco Raccoons in the lead here at Memorial Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Anthony Naughton puts it through the uprights.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. It was a 15-play, 88-yard drive for Frisco that took half of the first quarter and about 4 minutes off the second quarter for the drive, and it was capped off by a 16-yard touchdown from quarterback Graney to Evan Coachman. And our new score, 14-0, Frisco in the lead here at Memorial Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Naughton will kick this one off. It's going to go back deep to Eddie Morgan, about 3 yards deep in the end zone. He's going to run it out. He's up to the 5, up to the 10, 15, look out, 20. Trying to break a couple of tackles. He's going to be wrestled down at the 26-yard line. So it turns out to be a positive thing that he ran it out, but it looked very scary initially.
Well, hindsight 20/20, but in this situation, in this type of game, you don't want him doing that, sacrificing yards. In the end, it's going to get him about 5 to 6 extra. But when you're that deep into the end zone and you've got blue already inside your 10 to 15, or rather 20 to 15, it's not a smart thing for Morgan to do.
Number 10, Zach Alcorn, your man under.
Alcorn will go under center. 1st and 10, moving left to right. Whistles blow before the snap can get underway. It's 7:18 left to go here in the second quarter. We'll talk about this one, and we think it is a false start on McKinney, and it is.
Well, that's a good way to start.
Procedure indicated against the Lions. That'll back them up.
That'll back them up 5 up to the 21-yard line.
Well, if you want to look at the differences between these two teams here, 7 first downs for the Frisco offense. Meanwhile, just 3 for McKinney on the same number of drives. So it shows you that starting off in this situation of now 1st and 15, I mean, they're not able to do right now what Frisco can do.
2 receivers to the left side. Alcorn will go under center. He'll hand off. Now he'll fake the hand to Maxwell, throwing right side. And Jake Felt makes the catch. Or Brett Helt, rather, makes the catch at the 24-yard line. I have no idea where the other name came from.
I was wondering.
So it'll be 2nd down and 12 from the 24-yard line. McKinney deep in their own territory. Need a desperate big play here. Nick Stardy will bring the play in.
You need something.
To Zane Alcorn. And he will split out wide left. Greg Miller also into the game will split out wide right. This is an offset I formation with Helt in the backfield along with Calvin Maxwell. Miller goes in motion. Alcorn back to pass, throwing it down the field, and he overthrows Nick Stardy, who is wide open.
Zane's not having a great passing night, Monty. He's missed a couple of open guys. Tonight only 2 for 7 for 9 yards. And now they're again back in a 3rd and long situation.
What is interesting to me is we have not seen Eddie Morgan in the backfield
I've
yet
wondered
tonight.
about that.
It's been all Calvin Maxwell so far. And it may be the fact that, now they have Prescott Mack who can play cornerback. That relieves Calvin Maxwell. That allows Eddie Morgan to play defense.
Yeah, but you need a big play right now. Unless there's something disciplinary, you don't take a star off the field.
Daniel Brash comes near side. Greg Miller split out wide left. Alcorn goes under center. He's going to toss left side. Calvin Maxwell trying to find that left corner. Crosses the 30 out to the 33. Never quitting. And near a 1st down, but he's going to be about 2 yards short to the 34-yard line. 6:16 left to go before the half. Josh Wakefield, the linebacker, makes the stop for Frisco.
And I'm not going to say that Calvin Maxwell is not a star. Calvin Maxwell is more of your fundamental runner. He's going to get you about 5, in this case 10 yards a play. But Eddie Morgan has the ability to make it a 99-yard touchdown, or as we saw a couple weeks ago, 94, even though there was a penalty on the play. They need a big play.
Well, This is going to be their punt team coming on. And Alcorn with his third punt tonight is going to boom this one high. It's a wobbly kick going to be taken at the 45-yard line by Denzel Brown. Cuts outside. David Grayson has him at the 50-yard line. And that's where Frisco will set up shop at the McKinney Lions 49-yard line.
About a 20-yard punt there. I'm not sure what the streaker did. He outran the kick.
And you can be assured that Brogan Funderburg will get the first down carry. And if it goes as if it goes as it has gone tonight, Brogan Funderburg will probably get 6 yards here on first down. One receiver on either side, handoff Funderburg, running right tackle, being chased by Eddie Morgan, who slings him down at the line of scrimmage, and that's a nice play by Eddie Morgan.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I think it was supposed to be another typical off-tackle play to the far side on the McKinney sideline. However, this time the defensive end was able to hold his ground on that side. I believe it is Josh Lane, and that forced Funderburg to try to force it outside more, and that allowed Eddie Morgan at cornerback just to come up and make the play.
Second down and 10 for the Frisco Raccoons. They will send a man near side is Michael Mitchell. Split out wide, and they're going to hand off. They're going to fake the hand down the field. It was Colin Graney to Michael Mitchell, and Michael Mitchell actually plays defender there and bats the ball away. He was in great coverage by Andy Martinek, the 5'9", 165-pound junior, and Martinek has 2 interceptions on the year, so it's probably a good thing that Brown kind of knocked that one away.
Yeah, defense, it looks like they're starting to find a little bit of rhythm, at least here on the last couple of plays. 2 plays prior, Funderburg was stopped for a loss. This last play is stopped for a loss, now an incompletion. Of course, they have the touchdown in the mix.
Here's my question. Why would they throw the ball? Sets up a third down and 10 here.
I don't even know if Funderburg's is good to.
And they're going to pass once again. Graney looking over the left side, and he has his man, and it's caught right at the first down marker. And on the catch for Frisco was Joshua Schuler. And I'm telling you, that one's very close to the first. I believe it's going to be a little bit short. Let's check with John Lighty.
Yeah, guys, that's going to be about a half a yard short. And I got an explanation for Eddie Morgan that I'll get back to y'all with a little bit later.
All right, John, we'll come right back to you. It will be fourth down and less than a yard from the 40-yard line. Quarterback sneak. Colin Graney's going to keep it, and he has the first down to the 36 or 7-yard line. I think they're going to spot it at the 37. John, tell us about Eddie Morgan.
Yeah, Eddie Morgan's just got a little nagging injury that he's been dealing with the past couple weeks. And McKinney Lions feel that he's more valuable back there at the safety position. And they've got Calvin Maxwell that can play running back for them.
Yeah, I agree, John.
Back up to y'all.
All right, thank you very much. Down to the 36-yard line goes Colin Graney and his Frisco Raccoons. Todd McVeigh in his career right now stands at 16-20 as a head coach, all of that being here at McKinney. 41-year-old head coach trying to get his troops going here. It's 1st and 10 for Frisco, and they move. Evan Coachman finally does something wrong in this game as he moves up front, and they'll bring this one back 5 yards.
Yeah, incorrectly said a couple plays ago that Eddie Morgan at his cornerback position, he's actually in the secondary at the safety spot, and that allows him to read where the ball is going. That's why it's so important for the defensive line to hold their ground, because once Funderburg tries to come out, you're not going to outrun Eddie Morgan. Funderburg's not, at least, and that allows Eddie Morgan just to take that hard line like we saw a couple of plays ago where he was stopped for no gain and shove him to the ground.
Whistles blow again before this play could get underway. No indication of a flag, however.
They didn't start the play clock.
4:07 left to go here in the second quarter. A very, very, very quick game at Memorial Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Colin Graney's going to hand off to Brogan Funderburg, running right tackle, trying to find that far corner, and gets his way out to the 32-yard line before Daniel Brash and Eddie Morgan make the stop for the McKinney Lions, and that will bring up a second down in about 5. Actually, they're going to give him the 33-yard line, so make it second down in about 8 or 7.5.
Well, officially a gain of 8, but I'm not sure. I thought he got a little further down too, Monty.
So they're going to call it 2nd and 7. 3:23 on the clock before half. Graney's going to hand off left side. Brogan Funderburg has one defender around his feet and makes a stop. Daniel Welch comes up from his linebacker position and makes the stop there. A nice play by Daniel Welch, reading his blockers and scraped right down the line and got the feet of Brogan Funderburg. It'll bring up 3rd down and long, 3rd down and 7 after the no gain.
They're like I said, starting to figure out Funderburg. His last 5 carries have gone for only a total of 8 yards, and that came on 1 carry.
3rd down and 7. Graney wants to pass. Left-handed quarterback rolls to the left side, throws it down the field. Coachman is there. Eddie Morgan knocks it away. A great play by Eddie Morgan. You wondered why Eddie Morgan was playing defense. That's why.
Good defensive play by
Hey,
number 27, Eddie Morgan.
Is there a penalty? I believe we've got unnecessary roughness. I'll have to take the momentum away. There's a flag down for sure, and I thought I saw the head official. Yeah, they're marking it off.
Well, and that unfortunately is going to be a 1st down for Frisco. What a terrible time for the flag to come in like that. You just had momentum. That's the only point really where momentum has really swung back to you if you're a Lions fan, and that is just completely wiped off the board. And now with 2:41, Frisco has another chance to score here before the half. Graney's going to hand off. Funderburg met at the line of scrimmage. A big hit, a flag down right at the line of scrimmage. LaRon Washington makes the stop. And a loss of 1 on Funderburg.
Funderburg, good hit out there by number 32.
As the announcer said there, good hit out there. Like I say, they're starting to figure out Funderburg. Now we've got another offensive penalty. This time looks to be in the range of holding. Funderburg not doing a whole lot here of late. Maybe the McKinney defense starting to figure it out a little bit, figure out the blocking scheme, because, Funderburg's a good runner, but he's not the best rusher in the area. I think what you're seeing is the best rushing offensive line in the area.
Well, that's probably true. They'll push this one back to the 28-yard line after the penalty. So with 2:26 to go before the half, Frisco has 2nd down and 20. Graney back to pass. Left-handed quarterback rolls to his right. Now he's under pressure and sacked. The ball's loose. It's on the turf. And I believe Frisco recovered. Cole Estes makes the big hit.
I thought the referee just pointed McKinney's way, but the defense still in the field. All right, take it back. Sorry, a little excitement for no reason.
Coach Todd McVeigh is pointing that way like McKinney had recovered. The officials are telling him no, that Frisco fell back on the ball, but what a big hit right there by Cole Estes.
Well, now you're looking why it's so important for Frisco to get the running game going, because when they get in these 2nd and long, 3rd and long situations, the passing game not as proficient. 2 of 4 passing, but also a big sack right there, so less than 50% in terms of a successful play.
Now whistles blow again before this 2nd and 25 play.
Looks like movement on the line.
Now Frisco, right before the half, all of a sudden is falling apart. They've had the entire momentum this entire first half. They've moved the ball at will. They've done whatever they wanted. They lead this game 14-0 with a $1:58 left to go before half, and all of a sudden they've marched their way down to the 18-yard line and marched themselves way back to the 38.
That'll be 2nd down and 25 for the Raccoons. Ball back at the 38-yard line.
Clock rolling at 1:47 before half. Graney's going to hand off Funderburg. Big hole up the middle, but that closes immediately as the McKinney Lions step right up. Eddie Morgan and Daniel Welch make the stop, and you see a little fire out of that McKinney Lion defense now.
Well, it's a prideful defense. They take a lot of pride in what they do as a unit. Right now, that's just being abused by Funderburg and the offensive line. And so now that they're starting to finally feel a little fire, they're starting to motivate them a little more. And right now, I don't know, Brogan Funderburg not doing a whole lot. He had 99 yards in the first quarter. That means he only has 28 here in the second.
3rd down and 36 for the Frisco Raccoons. The clock is at a minute. Graney wants to pass. Throws it out, and it's caught by his receiver down at the 26-yard line. Nowhere near enough for a first down. Joshua Schuler makes the catch. And under a minute now. here in the second quarter. Again, Frisco on top, 14-0.
It looks like they're content to run the clock out, which I can't say is a bad idea. McKinney's not going to do a whole lot with it in this end of the field. So let the time tick off. 15 seconds on the play clock, 28 on the game clock. So, in fact, it looks like they're even just going to let it run down and either take the penalty or call a timeout with 1 second left, try a field goal.
Well, it is 4th and 18. They are trying to run that clock down, and a timeout has been called. We'll take one, too, with 15 seconds left to go before half. 14-0. Frisco in the lead. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Colin Graney rolls out right side, comes back over to throw it to the near side. Wide open is Brogan Funderburg, and he struggles to fight his way away from a McKinney Lion defender, but he's not going to do it. Andy Martinek makes the stop, and Andy Martinek just saved a touchdown, if not the first down. There's only only 5 seconds left to go here before half, but thanks to Andy Martinek, the heads-up play by not leaving his station at that cornerback position, the McKinney Lions are going to take over here with 5 seconds to go at their own 10-yard line, and they'll probably just down it here and go to the half. You don't want to think of turning the ball over here especially, but you might try one trick bag play, but I don't think they will. They're going to just toss left side to Calvin Maxwell, who tries to find that far corner, and he does have enough for the first down, I believe, up to the 20-yard line. There is a flag down.
Maxwell on the carry.
Time has expired on the first half clock, but check the flag.
There are flags on the play.
Well, it came out right as the ball was snapped, so it's likely to be an offsides.
And it's going to be declined. It's against McKinney. It's going to be declined, and that is the end of the half. 14-0. Frisco leads here at Memorial Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
And Jonathan Leidy.
Well, I don't want to steal their glory, Brandon Helms and John Leidy, but Monty Walker here at halftime. It's 14-0. Frisco in the lead, and joining me now is Brent Urena, the beat writer for the McKinney Lions at McKinneySports.net. Brent, there's a whole lot to talk about at halftime here, isn't there?
Yeah, if you're a Frisco writer or if you're covering Frisco, I mean, yeah, definitely. It's just Brogan Funderburg, and more Brogan Funderburg. He's got 20 carries. McKinney's got 18 plays. So.
I would say that. I would tell you to say that 3 times, but you just did somehow.
It's pretty hard. I think I stuttered on the second one, but we got it done. So.
You know, this is one of those games where you really thought it would be evenly matched, but I tell you what, Frisco's line of scrimmage is just dominating, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, well, their line of scrimmage is dominating, and Brogan, he's just a big guy. McKinney's defensive line is not big. I mean, they're speed, they have speed, but they're not that big. So I mean, it could be kind of scary what happens in the second half here if the McKinney defense is getting worn down. But, I mean, McKinney's offense has to get some first downs, keep the defense off the field, because Frisco, I think, they've got like 11, 12 first downs in the first half. They're just moving the chains, 5-yard run, 4-yard run, 3-yard run. So,
and probably the most scary thing is how much time they're eating on the clock as well.
Yeah.
They took up, basically 4 or 5 minutes off the first quarter clock at the end of it, and then another 4 or 5 minutes off the second quarter in the same drive.
Yeah, they're just – this quickest half I've ever seen. I mean, this is really fast, and scored twice on 4th and 1s, I believe. So they're going for it no matter what, because all they need to do is have Brogan go up there and just get a few yards. But I mean, it's not pretty so far. But I mean, if you're at half with McKinney, you just gotta go in there and I guess forget about this and just get the offense going. The offense is doing nothing. I mean,
and that brings up a good point. We haven't seen Eddie Morgan at the tailback position tonight, and John Leidy tells us that he's suffering through a little injury, and they want to focus on him playing some safety. But do you think at some point we'll see Eddie Morgan in the backfield?
Well, I'm not sure what the extent of that injury is, but if the offense wants to do something, they might need to have Eddie back there, even if he's not carrying the ball as a decoy. Because everyone knows number 27 on McKinney, you got to watch him. So hopefully he can get there, tough it out and be a decoy at least.
The story of this game last year was Ryan Packard. He rushed for 19 carries and 160 yards in this game. We haven't seen Zane Alcorn running the football a whole lot tonight.
We haven't seen that all year, to tell you the truth. I don't know if that's from the injury last year, his toe injury last year, but yeah, I mean, Alcorn's not doing much, and every pass he's thrown, it seems to be on the run. Earlier in the year, it was drop back. I mean, they're not a drop back type of passing team, but that's what they were doing earlier in the year. Now everything seems a naked bootleg, and he's thrown off balance, and the passes just aren't getting where they need to be. Something they hopefully can fix, but I mean, I just don't know what even to say about the first half so far. There's not many positives to draw from this.
Well, hopefully we'll be all smiles after this football game, especially the Lions fans back home listening. Brent Urena, thank you very much. McKinneySports.net beat writer. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks. And we'll talk to everyone else soon. Back in a moment. 14-0. Frisco on top here at Memorial Stadium in Frisco, Texas on 97.5 KLAK.
Hey, second, because right now you can't afford to give up another long drive to Frisco. Maybe even a turnover.
So from their own 30-yard line, they will open the door to the second half right here. Graney goes under center with two tight ends. He's going to fake the hand, throwing it down the field or wanting to. Fires it down over Denzel Brown's head and almost intercepted by Martinek. But it was over his head as well, and it falls incomplete. It'll bring up second down and 10.
Well, it's likely to be further out of bounds that even if Martinek had gotten there, it would have been incomplete. Not sure what Graney was trying to do. He had the open receiver, and he was throwing on the run, so that could have played a factor. But for the most part, that should have been a simple pitch and catch.
Second down and 10 as Graney comes to the line of scrimmage. Coachman on the right side in his H-back position. Funderburg is going to get the handoff here, running right guard. Cuts it inside, and Eddie Morgan pops him and brings him down after about a 3 or 4 yard gain out to the 34-yard line.
Which is curious. Second and 10, they run it with Funderburg. It's curious why they didn't do it on the first play of the series. A 4-yard gain there that puts them at 131 yards on the game, but now you're looking at 3rd and 6, which is right about his average, which could be an iffy proposition for getting the first.
Moving right to left is Frisco. This is going to be Graney back to pass, looking down the field, fires it, and it's incomplete and could have been intercepted by Prescott Mack if he was really looking for the football, but it went through his hands and falls incomplete. It'll bring up 4th down, and for the first time tonight, Frisco is going to have to punt.
Well, PMAC, not a lot he could do there because it was deflected. It was a hard rope, which is why Schuler didn't catch it to begin with, and then it was deflected off towards PMAC. But I think the McKinney defense just happy they got a punt out of this and should theoretically start with their best field position.
And punting this one away is Coachman. It's a very high kick. Eddie Morgan's going to take it at the 22. Fumbles the ball, but picks it back up, and whoa, that was scary. Morgan somehow got the ball. Frisco says they have it.
So do the officials.
And the officials say they have it. Morgan is down, disgusted, holding his face mask with both hands, and now is helped off the turf, and he's going to have to stay on the field because it's Frisco's ball at the 25-yard line.
Wow.
That'll be 1st and 10 for the Raccoons. Ball will be marked at the 25-yard line.
Wow, indeed. What do you say about that?
Well, I haven't. I don't know what to say. It's a killer.
Well, this is going to be Funderburg, and he gets the toss right side, handoff rather, and Eddie Morgan takes out some frustration on him as he brings him down after about a 3-yard gain to the 23-yard line.
Finished off by number 27, Morgan.
Wow. That was a chance to, the first time that McKinney had held him to a punt, but fumbled. It is uncharacteristic of Eddie Morgan to put the ball on the turf like that.
Yeah.
Here we are, 2nd down and 8. This is going to be a handoff. Brogan Funderburg running left tackle. Scoots through a couple of holes. 15-10. Kiss him goodbye. 5. Touchdown Frisco. Prescott Mack brings him down in the end zone, and that could have been a penalty. But Frisco gets into the end zone. Takes the score 20-0 with 10-12 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. And I know Eddie Morgan is not happy right now because of the fumble that he just gave Frisco. A second chance at this possession, and they capitalized on it. Low snap, and now kicking through the extra point. It's good, but there's a flag on the play.
The kick is good. There is a flag on the play.
So a 23-yard touchdown by Brogan Funderburg shocks this McKinney Lions crowd on the far sideline and the broadcasters up here in the booth. The extra point is good. 21-0. Frisco in the lead. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. 21-0, the new score here. Frisco on top. It was actually a two-play drive because they took possession right after the Eddie Morgan fumble after the Lions made them punt. But Morgan fumbled the punt, gave him the ball at the 25-yard line, and Funderburg ran in 2 plays later from the 23. And on the personal foul against McKinney is going to give Naughton a chance to kick from the 45-yard line, and he boots it out of the end zone. So McKinney will take over at their own 20-yard line. Not the way you wanted to start out the second half for the Lions.
No. I mean, think about it up here, and I know we as broadcasters are probably good just a little bit more emotional during the course of a game because as a player you have to stay grounded. But, man, our sails have been led free of all wind inside to them, and it looked like they were starting to get that momentum going. I mean, that was a big swing of 7 points right there.
Yeah, that was huge. Calvin Maxwell is going to get the toss here, running left side, big block up to the 25 and fighting his way out to the 30-yard line, close to a first down. Corbin Adams makes a stop for Frisco, but that's going to be very close to a first down for McKinney, and they do move the sticks here. So a good thing to see from the Lion offense as they come out fighting on their first possession on first down.
Well, that's about all they can do. They're not a really big play team. They'll grind it out. If they can get 10 yards on a carry, and do that consistently, the offense will be in good shape. But this offense needs to score now. They're not a score-a-lot type offense.
Matt Reapin and Nick Stardy come out wide right. Brett Helt in the backfield. They're trying to figure out where he wants to go, and they're going to hand off to Calvin Maxwell, who crosses the 30 and down at the 34-yard line. It'll bring up second down and about 6. And that play, Brett Helt, he came in a little bit late, and he was jumping all over the backfield trying to figure out where to go.
Yeah, it looked like between every play, they'll send a runner, or rather they'll send a couple players on and a couple players off. They'll be in the huddle and then break. Obviously, it's a traditional way to do it. But Brett came on after the huddle broke.
Daniel Brash comes in here and splits out wide left. Greg Miller split out wide right. They're going to hand off up the middle, and that is Maxwell, who is close to another first down, and I believe he has another one.
Yeah, he's starting to move the ball really well, Monty. That's another gain of 7.
Denzel Brown makes the stop for Frisco, but moved the sticks. 9:25 left to go in the third quarter. McKinney down 21-0 to Frisco.
Yeah, his last 3 carries, he's gotten 21 yards. They've all come on this drive. And that's the second first down on this drive.
Offset I for McKinney, moving left to right. Toss right side, Calvin Maxwell. Sidesteps one defender, but brought down immediately by Curtis Kazansky. And he might have even lost a yard. I think he just lost a step, though. So it'll be second down and just longer than 10 yards.
Officially, it'll be no gain, so Maxwell not officially going to be counted for a yard loss there. Maxwell not as efficient running on the outside as Morgan is. He's more of a between the tackles or even at best an off tackle guy. And this Frisco defense reacts pretty well when the play's going to the outside and setting up in front of him.
Frisco has only given up 91 points all year. Here's Calvin Maxwell running up the middle. He's going to gain 5 yards up to the 45-yard line. So McKinney has run 5 plays so far and moved the ball pretty well.
And all but one of them, they've gotten positive yardage. And this one, they've gotten 2 for 4 yards, and a couple of them that have been longer than that. But it's good to see that Calvin Maxwell starting to establish the run.
These two teams that come in very similar in numbers. Frisco had scored 130, given up 91. McKinney scored 118, given up 93. This is going to be a handoff. Alcorn's going to throw it in the flats. Daniel Brash makes the catch inside Frisco territory at the 48-yard line. He is knocked down there by the outside linebacker, Chris Warnick. 21-0. Frisco in the lead. 7:49 left to go, third quarter.
Simple 8-yard pass play, but it's enough to move the chains. And that will be the 7th McKinney first down in this game, but the first one that's not a run.
7th play of the drive coming up. 1st and 10. David Grayson goes split out wide left. Coming to the near side is Matt Reapin. In the backfield, all alone is Alcorn. Rolls out left side, cuts it up inside. He wants to run, gets back to the line of scrimmage and has the 45-yard line. So a gain of a couple of yards there. Alcorn just didn't see what he wanted.
No, and I'm not sure the wisdom of the play of putting Alcorn in the backfield by himself. I mean, it ended up being a positive play of 3 yards. But when you do that, you're playing out of inherent strength into a relative weakness.
Brett Helt will come into the game. Matt Reapin will split out wide, well, in the slot actually to the right. Nick Stardy will split out to his right. Offset I for McKinney, and they're going to toss to Calvin Maxwell running left guard, and he's going to get maybe a couple out to the 41-yard line in Frisco territory. He actually picks up 3 there. So it'll bring up third down and about 4.5, 5 yards.
The third down and 6.
I'm not sure what the PA announcer sees. He said 3rd and 6.
Yeah, it's
a lot. It's not 6, that's for sure.
It may be just less than 5 here.
It's just on that side of the short side of 5.
There's going to be an inside trap, and whoa, that was exactly right as Brett Helt got the inside handoff coming through on the counter trap and bobbled it for a little bit coming through, but held on. But that's not the play they drew up.
No, well, Helt lost a lot of his forward progress and momentum when he struggled with the ball, and he had to kind of pull it down a little bit. But the problem is that was the third down play.
So 4th down and, not far enough to where you can go for it, so they're going to have to punt it away here again. Zane Alcorn stands at his own 47, and he's going to punt this one away. An end-over-end low-line drive kick. It takes a bad hop on Denzel Brown. He fumbles the ball. I don't know if he actually fumbled it or he ever had it.
He muffed it, and Martinek got it.
And McKinney has the ball.
So there's the first turnover for McKinney's favor.
Andy Martinek comes up with a football. That ball basically one-hopped Brown. He should have just let it go.
Oh, yeah.
But he tried to scoop it up like a third baseman. It bounced off his chest, and Martinek came up with it. So there's a break for McKinney, and Eddie Morgan can wipe his brow a little bit if McKinney can get this one back in the end zone.
Well, and that's what makes fielding a Zane Alcorn pass or punt so difficult, because it's a low line or wobbly punt. Here's the play.
And this is going to be a toss left side. Calvin Maxwell has the 15, has the 10, and down inside the 10 to the 8-yard line, close to a first down.
All right, Monty, no less than a touchdown. I don't know. McKinney, they need one right here. They're not a big play, score quick type offense.
They desperately need it.
And finally, we get some action from McKinney's sideline. The band getting into it a little bit.
The ball was at the 19-yard line is where they recovered, where McKinney recovered the ball. So looking for the 9. The ball's at the 10. 2 receivers to the right. Alcorn, hands off, up the middle. First down for Calvin Maxwell. Maxwell will have the ball at the 6-yard line. Josh Wakefield makes the stop for Frisco. Oh, baby, this could be big. What a job by the punt cover team for the McKinney Lions.
Well, specifically Martinek, that's how they like to set it up. Martinek's the streaker on that side. He's there to basically do one thing, either down the ball on the roll or tackle the ball carrier and try to force a turnover, and that's exactly what happened there.
Everybody tight. This is going to be a handoff. Calvin Maxwell up the middle, scooting his way, and it's touchdown time in Texas. Calvin Maxwell on a 6-yard touchdown run with 4:26 left to go in the third quarter, and McKinney trying to sniff their way back into this football game.
Well, that's a big play for lots of reasons, not the least of which is the first touchdown of the game and puts McKinney closer, and it's a much-needed touchdown because a 14-point deficit, well, let's wait for the PAT before we say that, but it's a lot more manageable. It also puts Maxwell over 100 yards.
And there's movement on the line of scrimmage. It looks like Frisco may have jumped.
Yeah, I don't know if McKinney did anything biting, but that should be encroachment, and it is. But now that that's the case, instead of being at the 3, the ball's at the 1.5. I think you need to go for 2 here. I mean, it could be a momentum thing. And I'm not saying you have to, but think about it. All of a sudden, that's an 8-point swing on the turnover.
Well, Bernard is still on for the extra point. Movement again on the line of scrimmage.
I think they touched him again.
They're almost baiting them to go for it here, it seems like.
Why wouldn't you?
David Cook is the guy who had movement, and he's going to come out of the game now. Vance Gibson's seen enough of David Cook. He sends in Shelby Pryor to replace him on the line of scrimmage there. And once again, trying for this extra point is McKinney. And Bernard's kick is up, and it is true. 21-7, our new score, 4:26 left to go in the third. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Frisco 21.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. It was a 6-yard touchdown by Calvin Maxwell that topped off that drive of 3 plays and 19 yards. And McKinney trying to sniff their way back into this football game. Finds a new score, 21-7. Frisco in the lead.
Well, Monty, the last series of PAT attempts shows me one thing, and that's that the McKinney coaching staff, particularly Todd McVeigh, they have a big confidence level in Joey Bernard because there were 2 penalties that moved the ball half the distance to the goal, and they didn't even think about going for 2 either time.
Bernard boots this one away. It's a low line drive kick, going to bounce and be taken by A.J. Hendricks, who makes his way up to the 35 down at the 36-yard line, pushed out of bounds
22, Hendricks on the return
by Matt Reapin and Mitch McLenar. So Brogan Funderburg and company will come back out on the field here. Frisco will take over at their own 37-yard line. 4:20 left to go in the third quarter. Plenty of time here for the McKinney Lions. They just need to really make some stops here. Moving right to left is Frisco. Graney goes under center. Going to hand off right side. Brogan Funderburg, big open hole for a minute, met by 2 Lions, but not after a gain of about 5 yards up to the 42-yard line. So Funderburg just lowers his head and runs, a lot like Chase Barrett does at McKinney North. Same type of ball player. Brings up second down and 5. Under 4 minutes now in the third quarter. McKinney reversing strong sides now. And Colin Graney's going to hand off Funderburg, running left side. He's met at the line of scrimmage, shakes one defender, shakes another one, and down. After he picks up a first down at the 48-yard line, Daniel Brash and Eddie Morgan, the 2 safeties, come up and make the stop, but not after the first down. 3:40 left to go in the third quarter. Frisco on top, 21-7.
Well, pardon me, Funderburg up to 167 yards on the ground. And right now, the McKinney's defense starting to get a little penetration. They're just not doing it consistently and all the time. And there's still holes for Funderburg to see. And like I said earlier, he does have the vision to find those holes.
Graney under center. He's going to hand off Funderburg, running left side. Lots of room to run, but is shut down after about a 4-yard gain. Inside Lion territory at the 48-yard line. Mitch McLenar comes up and makes the stop for the McKinney Lions. So from 148 to the other go the Frisco Raccoons with 3:05 left to go in the third quarter. 21-7. McKinney trying to fight back into this football game. Desperately need a stop here on second down. Graney is going to hand off once again left side. Funderburg gets a stop and push backwards as Estes. Estes makes maybe one of the biggest stops of the night, which will bring up a 3rd down and 5 here. They actually will give him forward progress somehow, but I don't even know how he got to the line of scrimmage, to be honest with you. Estes was right there.
Well, that's showing you just how much this McKinney defense is starting to get better. The Frisco offensive line not getting as much push as they had, and at least now McKinney's standing it up, which limits the holes Funderburg can go through. And on that play, he couldn't find the right one right away because there really wasn't one.
Josh Shula split out wide right. Look for him. Colin Graney goes near side. Coachman makes the catch, first down at the 35-yard line. When they need a big play, it seems like Coachman is their guy. Not only this year, but last year as well. It was his toe last year that beat the McKinney Lions when he was the extra point kicker.
Well, that's the second catch on the night. Sorry, Monty.
That's the first catch that wasn't a touchdown by Coachman. The ball will be at the 35-yard line in McKinney territory. Frisco moving right to left. Handoff, Funderburg again, trying to find the outside corner, and hanging on for dear life was Ryan Hughes, and he didn't hang on very long. Funderburg drug him for a couple of yards. There is a flag down, however, right at the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's going to be Major McGee. He got the penetration early, and one of the offensive linemen grabbed him by the foot. And if you're going to do that right in front of the official, well, you're going to get called every time. I mean, there's not a greater example of a hold than a defensive end hopping on one foot with the other foot being held by the lineman. I mean, you might as well put a flashing neon sign that says, hey, I'm holding right here.
So they'll move the ball back to the 45-yard line. $1:44 left to go in the third quarter clock, 21-7. Frisco in the lead. This could be a situation where if McKinney could take over here and shut the Frisco Raccoons down, get the ball back and score, we've got a ball game.
And they need to do that.
Graney on the inside route, hands off, and falling down is Chris Warnick. He had a lot of room trying to find the far corner. Now, granted, he was being chased down by Damon Marino, but if he could have fought off and outran Marino, he had lots of green turf to run.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the Frisco offensive line not getting as much push, and the defense, maybe let's give our boys credit here that the McKinney defensive line starting to get some penetration because there was nowhere for Warnick to run. And on top of that, he's not like Funderburg that can dart through a hole quickly.
Under a minute in the third quarter, 21-7 Frisco over McKinney. This is the Graney wanting to throws it down the field and is caught at the 31-yard line. And on the Damon Marino on the defense for McKinney, but on the catch was Alphonse Coleman. And Coleman on the year, 3 catches, 24 yards, and that's a big one there. It's not a first down, but it does go down to the 30-yard line. Under 30 seconds left here in the third quarter. And what a big play that was.
Well, you talk about Moreno there on coverage, but it was Martinek who really threw him down to the ground. I mean, he punished him.
So split out wide right will go Jason Schuler. Graney goes under center. Funderburg in the backfield, and they're going to hand to him, running left side. Sticking an arm out, and missing a tackle is Washington, but sticking the arm out was Josh Lane. He basically stepped over Josh Lane's arm, but Ron Washington missed the tackle, and now Frisco is right at a first down marker. I mean, it's going to be close. That's the end of the third quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. On fourth and less than a 1, Colin Graney picks up the first down on the quarterback sneak down to the 20-yard line, a 5-yard gain.
How does a quarterback sneak get 5 yards?
On 4th and a half yard. Especially when you're stacking the line, knowing that Brogan Funderburg is probably going to get the call, and maybe that's why. They were keying on Funderburg.
It's still a quarterback sneak. It's not like they're doing anything extraordinary. They're just tucking the ball. I think more than anything that shows how the Frisco line penetrates.
And on the play is Funderburg up the middle on the left tackle, making his way inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. Eddie Morgan makes the stop along with Andy Martinek. And I tell you what, a heavy dose of Brogan Funderburg can be enough.
Well, I think more along the lines of a heavy dose from this Frisco offensive line. I mean, let's give credit to those big guys. Guys like David Cook, Christopher Mills and Keith Barker, the 2 guards, are doing a good job of moving.
Brock Chalker, the right tackle.
And even the center, who I really can't pronounce his name too well.
Handoff, Brogan Funderburg up the middle, fighting his way to the 5-yard line, just outside of it. They'll mark him down at the 6. So here we are with 11:02 left to go in this game. McKinney down 21-7, and Frisco at the 6-yard line fighting for more. Really thought that McKinney, that this game would be a lot closer than what it has been so far tonight. It's been too much Frisco offensive line and Brogan Funderburg. It's been too much of a dose of that. On second down, this is going to be a handoff to Brogan Funderburg, running to the right side over right tackle inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and goal for the Raccoons of Frisco, Texas. 10:22 left to go in this football game.
See, Bonnie, the reason why I don't want to give Funderburg too much credit is because I've seen too many plays like that. He runs in a straight line and gets tackled and gets positive yardage out of it. You know, minus that big 50-yard run, he hasn't done just a whole lot of moves. He just doesn't get touched until he's a few yards down the field.
3rd and goal for Frisco. Funderburg in the backfield. Graney wants to throw, throws it out and wide open, but overshoots his receiver Denzel Brown, and it falls incomplete, and it will be 4th down time for Frisco with 9:55 left to go. And I'm going to tell you what, Denzel Brown was all alone.
Well, I was about to make the point of why he was alone. There was a couple of reasons. First, Brown made a nifty move on the cut, but he made the cut precisely when Graney made the fake to Funderburg and forcing the cornerback out on the far side there, Andy Martinek, to come in. And when he did that with the nifty out move by Brown, left him wide open. Graney missed a huge opportunity for a passing touchdown.
Well, almost blocked was the field goal there by Eddie Morgan, but it is good. Naughton nails it. So with 9:52 left to go in this game, Frisco goes on top 24-7. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Raccoons 24, McKinney Lions 7.
Welcome back to Frisco, Texas, Memorial Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt. It was a 20-yard field goal by Anthony Naughton that brings our new score to 24-7. Frisco over McKinney, and this will be Naughton teeing it up from the 40, and we'll boot this one down to Eddie Morgan again. It bounces at the 5. He picks it up at the goal line. He's crossing the 10 and busts his way to the 15, shakes one defender, and now he's going to be caught behind the 15-yard line at the 13. So deep in their own territory, McKinney will set up shop with 9:44 left to go in this football game.
Well, I don't want to say it's a must, but at this point, a touchdown is pretty much all you can get. You're down now by greater than 2 scores. And with 10 minutes left, I mean, if this was North, it's not that big a deal. They have the ability to do it, but McKinney's, like I've said before, is not the big play offense. And this is an area where you might start seeing Eddie Morgan in, but if not, we're going to see a lot of passes, I think, to try to slow the clock down.
Number 10, Zane
Alcorn is going to pass this one over the middle, and he overshoots Greg Miller at the 40-yard line. It falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Man, if he hits Miller, it's at least a big play, if not a touchdown. There was no other safety there, and his man in coverage was a step behind him. He may have been able to make a diving tackle, and the reception may have been enough to slow him down so that the coverage could have gotten there. But, man, that's a big play that you could just refine the passing just a little bit. I mean, that could have been all of a sudden it could have been a 24-13 game if that's play goes as it could have.
Alcorn is one to throw it flushed out of the pocket to the right side. He escapes the sack somehow, busted down at the 13-yard line. It's going to be a loss of a couple on the play, but it could have been much, much worse than that.
Yeah, defensive end on the far side there, Chris Warnick or Jason Medford. Didn't bite on that at all. He did make the tackle, allowing Zane to get a couple more yards out of the play.
He's brought down by number 6.
But instead of a loss of 5-6, it's now a loss of 2, and that's one reason why I like Zane as a quarterback. If he could just refine his passing, he'd be great. But as it is, he can find the dangerous situation and somehow get out of it.
Ball's at the 14-yard line for McKinney, deep in their own territory on 3rd and 12. Alcorn back to pass, 2-step drop, throws it over the middle. Daniel Brash makes the catch at the 32, up to the 35, look out, 35, down to the 45-yard line. Daniel Brash, when you need a big catch, he comes up with it. 7 catches, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns coming in. Give him another one right there. A.J. Hendricks makes the stop for Frisco.
Well, it was at the 14-yard line. Now it's up to the 47. And that's what they need to start doing. If Brash is his favorite receiver, and by all accounts he is, that's a play you need to start revisiting a little more. I mean, you could always use gains of 33.
David Grayson split out wide left. Everybody else split out wide right. Alcorn by himself. Now Maxwell runs behind him and flags will come in before the play could get underway. It'll be false start against McKinney, or illegal procedure rather, and that'll back him up
Bring up first down at 15.
5 yards. So the ball will now be at the 42-yard line.
Depends on which level you are, but an illegal procedure or a false start's the same thing. One guy on the offensive line still moved one way or another, and then that again shows you just how much penalties can ruin momentum. So all of a sudden you had a big play, you're ready to go, and then you have to go back 5 yards.
Reapin and Miller split out wide right. Maxwell comes in motion, moves to the right side of Alcorn. Shotgun, fakes it to the right side, now throws the screen pass out to Maxwell. Frisco sniffed it, and they were all over it. And a loss actually on the play back to the 40-yard line, and man, Frisco was all over that one.
Yeah, they read the screen pass right away. In fact, you knew something was going to happen pretty much because Calvin lined up in the slot position, and then the quarterback, Alcorn, said, no, you're not supposed to be here. Come back here. That generally indicates they're involved in the play somehow.
Second down and 18 for McKinney. 3 receivers to the right. Alcorn rolling right side, wants to throw down the field. Looking, under pressure, fires it down, and is it complete to Greg Miller? And I think he's out of bounds and juggling it, and it falls incomplete. So it'll be third down and 18 with 7:26 left to go in the third quarter clock. McKinney down 24-7 to Frisco.
So that's what I'm talking about, the penalties, Monty. I mean, it's a killer. They just got a first down on a walk pass play, and now all of a sudden we're looking at third and 18.
He's out of bounds, and that'll bring up third down at 18.
McKinney making their way to the line of scrimmage. Daniel Brash brings in the play. Matt Reapin will split out wide right. Alcorn has the play call, gives it to his team. Greg Miller runs out to the right side. Shotgun formation. Maxwell stands right next to him. Alcorn wants to throw down the field. The home run ball to Brash, who's wide open. Caught it at the 25-20, 15-10, 5. Touchdown McKinney. It is touchdown time in Texas as Zane Alcorn hits Daniel Brash for the huge touchdown.
Boy, it doesn't get any bigger than that. By the way, that reception now puts Daniel Brash at over 100 yards receiving. A 33-yard pass play on the reception prior, and then a 61-yarder puts him at 102 receiving yards.
The kick is up, and it is good. McKinney has found himself a kicker in Joey Bernard. 24-14, Frisco in the lead, but look out and strap them on tight. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt. Let's check down with John Leidy real quick. John, what do you got for us?
Yeah, guys, it's kind of an emotional roller coaster up here. McKinney came out high. Eddie Morgan kind of turned that ball over there, kind of went back down. They came back up, down, back and forth, back up y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John. And emotions are running high. Emotions are running high up here in the broadcast booth. I can imagine what they are down there on the field.
I didn't know this area had an amusement park. Hey!
We'll let that one slide. 7:17 left to go in the fourth quarter.
Somebody's laughing somewhere.
And McKinney, a short pooch kick. And look out. For a moment, Frisco couldn't pick it up. It was Tini Ogunsola who was picking that ball up, and apparently he got on it because they recover at the 31-yard line. It was just a pooch kick that actually bounced on the turf, and Frisco recovered it. So 7:15 left to go in this football game. McKinney just got on the board with a 61-yard touchdown from Zane Alcorn to Daniel Brash, capped off a 6-play, 85-yard drive. Our new score, 24-14. Frisco in the lead with 7:15 left to go. Graney's going to go under center. He's going to hand off to Brogan Funderburg, running left tackle. Lots of blocks out there and plenty of room, and plows over a McKinney defender at the 42-yard line. It's a first down for Frisco on first down, and look out.
Funderburg on the carry, brought down by number 32, LaRon Washington. But not before Frisco.
The ball will rest at the 43-yard line. Moving left to right is Frisco. And you think if they could score here, that would probably seal it.
Well, that carry put Funderburg over 200 yards rushing for the game. And limping off the field for Frisco is Michael Mitchell. He's a split out.
Graney goes under center on first down, hands off to Funderburg, running right tackle, big hole up again, and Eddie Morgan stops it at the 48-yard line, but not after a gain of about 5 on first down. Will bring up second down and 5. Under 7 minutes now at 6:33 left to go.
Monty, there's a good chance that a couple members of this Frisco offensive line will be your all-district members.
How could they not with the performance that we've seen tonight and throughout their season so far? You just look at Funderburg's numbers. He came in 5 yards shy of 1,000 in week 5.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to look at it, I mean, I'm not going to take too much away from the kid, but this offensive line is doing the most of his yards.
Second down and 5, handoff Funderburg, running left tackle this time, trapped behind the line of scrimmage. Somehow gets away, but he's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage there, just shy of the midfield stripe. Eddie Morgan and others, Ryan Hughes, come up and make the stop for McKinney. But that'll bring up a third down.
Well, this will be the biggest down for the defense up to this point. You need a stop.
Desperately needing a stop is McKinney on third down and 5. 5:55 left to go in the game on Friday the 13th. Big play here. Huge play for McKinney on third down and 6. Look out for Funderburg running right side, and they fake it to him. Graney rolls out right side, throws it down the field, and is caught by Denzel Brown at the 38-yard. Ball's on the turf. McKinney may have it. 3 gold helmets around the football. No indication yet.
I think Frisco got it.
And that is a shame because there were 5 gold helmets around that football, and I don't know how
I can tell you
Keith
how.
Barker got on that football with all of those gold helmets around it.
The problem was the fumble went back towards the original line of scrimmage, and the Frisco defense was heading in the opposite direction, and there was one guy who tried to reach back. I wish I'd have caught his number because he had the best chance at it. He tried to get it, but unfortunately came up just short.
Graney will have a new set of downs on first down here. Down 24-14. He's going to hand off to A.J. Hendricks up the middle. Big hole there. And he's brought down at the 31-yard line by Major McGee, but not after a 7-yard gain. It seems like we say the same thing each first down. They gain 6 yards, 7 yards every first down. Timeout on the field. We'll take 1-2 back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Second down and 4 for Frisco. 5:19 left to go in this game. On top of McKinney, 24-14. Colin Graney, the quarterback for Frisco, moving left to right, will hand off to Brogan Funderburg, who is trying to find the outside corner, flag down at the 30-yard line. Fumble, and McKinney may have this one. It's bouncing around at the 38-yard line. Frisco, I think, jumped on it again. Now McKinney says no. McKinney's going crazy on the far sideline, and it is McKinney ball.
We were just talking during the break that this is a wasted opportunity 2 plays before on the fumble, and now they get it back. But we have the flag likely to be holding on Frisco.
I'm not sure who came up with the fumble for McKinney.
I wonder if John saw it. Hey, John, try to find that out for us. That's a big play. We deserve to give that kid credit.
John Lydy, let's check down with you. What do you got for us?
Yeah, that was a combination of Major McGee and Cole Estes recovering that fumble.
You know, we were talking during the break. Thanks, John. We were talking during the break who we want to talk to after the game. We said, Major McGee, and he's had a heck of a game. And I said Cole Estes, and now we may have to talk to both of them. Here's Alcorn, back to pass, throwing it down the middle, has his man Reapin, makes a catch at the 33-yard line and down right there inside the 30 to the 28, and look out. All of a sudden McKinney is woken up here.
Alcorn's pass complete to number 25, Matt Rapan. He's brought down by number 9, Corbin Adams, but not before long.
So now,
first down to the line, ball at the 28-yard line.
The ball will be at the 28 in Frisco territory. Moving right to left is McKinney. 2 receivers to the left. Alcorn, 3-step drop, looking left side, now looks right, looks back left, throwing down the field, and Calvin Maxwell in and out of his hands at the 2-yard line, incomplete. If Calvin Maxwell could be 5'7" instead of 5'6", he might have caught that one. 4:44 left to go in this game. McKinney down 24-14, and let me remind you that for the past 2 years, this game has come down to the last 8 seconds in the game. And if McKinney scores right here, look out.
Well, you know what I'd love right now for me to eat my words, Monty? I said this offense is not a big play offense, but they got a 61-yard reception for a touchdown. A couple plays earlier, a 33-yard reception. Now that one worth about 25. A couple of plays earlier to Matt Reapin. If they can score on a touchdown here, that's a pretty big play if you ask me.
Empty backfield on 2nd and 10. Alcorn rolling left, throwing it down the field, has Greg Miller, and it's caught inside the 20 at the 19-yard line. Clock rolls, and that's going to be very close to a first. They may have to measure that. Is it close enough to measure? John, are you down there to see how close that one is?
No, guys, they're actually going to mark it down as 3rd down. Back up to y'all.
All right, 19-yard line is where the ball rests inside Frisco territory. McKinney down 24-14, Brandon.
All of a sudden, Zane Alcorn got a good passing line. He's 7 of 14 through the air, but 141 yards and a touchdown.
3rd down and 1. Alcorn goes under center. He's going to toss right to Maxwell, who puts it on the turf, and Frisco has recovered. You know,
they're not meant to win this one.
Shelby Pryor recovers the fumble, but he didn't have to do a whole lot because Maxwell just put it on the turf. He just simply dropped the pitch.
Well, that's the problem with running a pitch to the outside like that, is because if you drop it, your momentum's probably taking you away from the ball, and there's not going to be anybody behind you if you drop it. Boy, and you don't expect that of Calvin. He's very sure-handed.
Well, here's Frisco taking over at the 23-yard line, and guess who gets the ball?
Funderburg on the carry.
You can hear that from the PA announcer. Funderburg on the carry, and we've heard that all night long. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Timeout Lions.
And you hear that. McKinney takes a timeout. We'll take one, too, back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Handoff to Funderburg, running right tackle. And he's going to gain a couple of yards. Not enough for the first down. It'll be 3rd down. And, you know, there's still 3:42 on this clock and rolling right now. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that McKinney can come back and win this football game. But, you know, it's pretty tight.
Well,
they're going to have to hold here on 3rd down for sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like I said in the break. It's not over. But, man, after that mistake, it feels like it's over. I mean, that's what sports is about. It's really a game of, especially football, a game of momentum.
Quarterback keeper for Graney, and I don't think he got it. It's going to be 4th down.
And they can't go for it here. So good series by the defense.
Major McGee comes up on the stop along with Daniel Welch, who's down around the pile. And that is going to be 4th down. Brandon, John, you're down on the sidelines. How's the emotion of the team after that fumble?
They're back on the emotional roller coaster. It's back down again, and let's see if we can try to get back up here.
Well, they can't go for it, can they?
Well, it is, you know.
Well, let's say the chance of them not making it's even 20%. Do you really want to risk that with 3 minutes left?
I think you have to punt this one away, don't you?
You can't. Oh, they're waiting for a measurement. That's what it is.
It's at the 32-yard line. It is 4th down.
It's short. I know. I can tell you it's short. You have to punt. I just can't imagine they would go for it.
Vance Gibson is talking to his quarterback, Colin Graney, at the 30-yard line during the official timeout here as they're measuring, and it is about the football length short.
You know, if they do go for it, I will credit you this. That's a gutsy move. They're going for the win. But I think you're up 2 scores as it is. Why make it easier for them if you don't get it? I mean, that's what this has to be predicated on. You have to think, okay, what happens next? If you punt it, they now have to go 50, 60 yards. If they, miss it, they only have to go 30 yards.
Timeout has been called on the field. We'll take 1, 2. 3:05 left to go in this game. 24-14, Frisco in the lead. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Frisco trying to jump the Lions offsides, and by barking and trying to draw the Lions offside, they drew themselves offside. A 5-yard penalty against Frisco, and now they'll definitely punt.
Man, there's I couldn't see a scenario in which at this phase of the game, inside your own territory, deep like that you go. I mean, this is almost Barry Switzer-like against Philadelphia. I mean, it's not the same scenario of this the game, but if you don't get it, I mean, it's granted it's 4th and 1. If you don't get it, I mean, I just can't imagine that.
Look who's standing back. at the 38-yard line. It's Eddie Morgan to return this punt. It's a very high. It's a bad kick by Frisco. It's going to bounce at the 44 and now take another hop. Eddie Morgan picks it up on the hop at the 46-yard line and goes out of bounds. What could have been disastrous, A.J. Hendricks makes a stop. It looked like Frisco had just punted themselves in a hole because it went off the side of Coachman's foot and went straight up in the air. It looked like it was going to bounce backwards, and it did not. It bounced the other way. Frisco got a great hop. Fortunately for McKinney, Eddie Morgan picked it up and gained a little bit out of it, but it could have been much better than what it is.
Oh, it could have been, but let's not say fortunately he picked it up. He picked it up in traffic, and, when you're an athlete like he is, the best you can say is do what you think you can do. But here we are. They're only 45 yards away from the end zone.
Alcorn, three-step drop in shotgun formation, looking down the field, has no pressure, rolls out right side now, trying to run for his life, and runs out of bounds after about a 5-yard gain, maybe 4. At the 40-yard line. They'll mark him at the 41 inside Frisco territory, so 2:45 left to go. McKinney desperately needs a touchdown. They're down 24-14.
That's why I like Zane Alcorn as my quarterback. He has the ability, if something's not there, to turn it into something. He's a pretty good athlete.
We mentioned at half, Ryan Packard, the quarterback last year in this game, had 19 carries, 160 yards on the ground. Alcorn, the quarterback, trying to run for some here. Back to pass, two-step drop. No pressure, throws it, and it's almost intercepted, and it is. It's intercepted at the 43-yard line and inside McKinney territory to the 45, and that probably is your ball game. I believe that's Rad Rotello who came up with the interception.
Yeah, it is, 13.
And what a job that was out in the flat. He was basically Alcorn was trying to find his receiver out in the flats, and Rotello jumped it.
Well, that's why the
It may have been Ogunsola, actually, as Jared Foyt points out. Tenny Ogunsola may have been the man who intercepted that pass.
Well, bottom line is it's a big play.
Brogan Funderburg gets the carry on first down, and he gains 2 yards, and that's probably going to seal the deal. I hate to close the book on this thing because there's still 2 minutes and 26 seconds left to go in the game, and it has come down to the last 8 seconds the past 2 years in a row. 24-14 our score here, and McKinney needs 10 quick points, and they don't have the ball. Second down and 7 at the 40-yard line.
Well, the problem is right now, Funderburg's just going to take time off the clock, and there's 7 seconds on the play clock ticking, so they're going to get the maximum out of their play clock as they can. There's Funderburg again, just up the middle for a short gain, but, for every 2 plays, they're going to take about 40 seconds off the game clock.
Brought down by number 17, McGee.
And the ball will be spotted inside the 40. To the 37-yard line.
And it's a personal foul on the defense.
Personal foul for a face mask violation indicated against
Yeah, and they'll move that one on back for a first down for Frisco. And, if there was any shot at this game, it's probably over with that penalty. So the chains will move for Frisco, and that'll move it down to the 24-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 from their McKinney 24. 2 receivers go out to either side. One split out to either side. Funderburg, the lone setback, as always, is going to get the carry over left guard. Bumps it back outside 15. Breaks it inside 10. Struggling down to the 5, down to the 3-yard line. Another first down for Frisco, and Funderburg rumbles his way down to the 3.
At this point, you can just take a knee.
Number 54,
McKinney's got 0 in the timeout column. You've got your first down.
3 timeouts for Frisco. Obviously, they don't need those at this point. 1:26 on the clock. Graney will go under center, double tight set. Funderburg, the lone setback. Barking signals are going to hand off. Funderburg bounces it outside, and stopping him for a moment is McKinney. And down at the 1-yard line, the ball may be on the turf. There may be a face mask. I see a late flag coming in right at the pile. A nice job of stopping him and bringing him down.
But there's a flag on the play.
They should down it. There's no reason to do that.
Now, granted, we don't know the point system in the district, and I don't know if it is a point system. So,
well, at this point, they're undefeated, so it doesn't really matter.
At some point it does, but again, I don't know the point scenarios. Colin Graney's going to quarterback sneak this one into the end zone. It's a touchdown for Frisco, and that'll bring the score to 30-14, and it looks much worse on the scoreboard than it actually has been in the fourth quarter. But really, if you look at it, Frisco has dominated all night long. On for the extra point is Naughton, and it's good. 31-14, Frisco in the lead here. A $1.09 left to go in this game. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 6 plays, 44 yards on the drive for Frisco. Ended on a 1-yard touchdown by the quarterback, Colin Graney. And our new score, 31-14 with a $1.09 left to go in the fourth quarter. Naughton will kick this one away. A high kick going towards Eddie Morgan. This one might bounce out of bounds, and it does. So we'll see what McKinney elects to do here. Probably make them re-kick, which will take no time off the clock. And wouldn't you love to see a run back here by Eddie Morgan? Turnovers are going to be the final say in this football game. McKinney had plenty of opportunities, and we talked about the keys of the game being the turnovers, and we talked about McKinney's defense getting those turnovers, and something that is very uncharacteristic of this football team so far this year. McKinney has turned the ball over several times tonight. They've only turned it over 3 times by fumble coming into this game, but you have to look at that. They've lost 12. But they've only fumbled away 3. That means they've put the ball on the turf 9 times that they got back coming into the night. Eddie Morgan's going to pick this one up at the 16-yard line, trying to find a crease to the near side. 30, cuts it back inside, and he's going to be gang tackled at the 36-yard line and pushed out of bounds. 1 minute exactly on the clock for the McKinney Lions in this football game, and they'll pack up those gold helmets and get in the gold bus and head back to McKinney. Down 31-14 here. Ball at the 36-yard line.
You know, the thing that we've done McKinney defeats before. There's just something about losing to Frisco.
It's 1st and 10 for the Lions.
I mean, last year we came away feeling pretty dejected. I feel pretty dejected right now. I can't speak for you.
Well, it was by the virtue of the loss, or how they lost last year, I think. Greg Miller makes the reception here and gets out of bounds after about an 8-yard gain. The ball's going to go up to the 44-yard line.
He goes out of bounds.
It'll be 2nd down and short. But last year's game was a little bit different because McKinney had led most of the way, felt good about it. We're about to close the door. One freak pass down the field, set up the field goal, and then the actual field goal itself was kind of weird. As the snap was real high, Antoine Davis brought it down, and the kick and all of that mess. Here's Alcorn rolling out of the pocket, running right side. He's going to have to run out of bounds, and does. I believe he had enough for the first. The official is going to say,
yeah, I don't think so.
No. They're going to say he's a yard short. So
run out of bounds by number 43.
Alcorn, because of that, it's going to be 3rd and 1, where he could have easily just ran past that marker but didn't do it. It's going to be a yard short of the first down at the 45-yard line. 46 seconds left to go in this game. McKinney trailing 31-14. Scores to pass along. Lake Dallas over McKinney Boyd 35-7. The last score we had. Alcorn is going to hand off to Calvin Maxwell on the draw. 45 cuts it up, and he's popped at the 47-yard line. I think he has enough for the first, however. Little Elm was down 7-6 to the Colony. Timeout?
No, we've got some activity there between Denzel Brown on the far side and Greg Miller on the near side. And it looks like a couple personal fouls that canceled each other out, maybe on sportsmanlike conduct canceled each other out. But either way.
Well, they're going to move the sticks here. It'll be 1st down and 10 for McKinney. Sherman on top of Denton Ryan, 14-0. Denison trailing to Wichita Falls Rider, 21-10. And on 1st and 10 for McKinney, Alcorn in shotgun formation. 37 seconds on the clock. 2 receivers either side. Alcorn takes one step back, throws it out in the flat, and it's caught by Nick Stardy at the 48-yard line. That's Matt Reapin, actually, who makes the catch at the 48-yard line. Trying to get on the ball in a hurry. And actually, McKinney just trying to work on their offense here because obviously you'd like to score, but they have no chance in winning this football game as now the clock's down at 11. Alcorn pumps it, now throws it across the middle, and it's in and out of the hands of Ty Gerald, and that stops the clock with 5 seconds. Gerald, 6'2", 175-pound junior, comes out of the slot ever so often. He also is the backup quarterback. Third down. It's been one of those games where, it's going to be a long ride home. I know it's not very far on 720 from Frisco over to McKinney, but it's going to be a long ride tonight. Third down and 5. Matt Reapin comes to the near side. Calvin Maxwell in the backfield along with Zane Alcorn. Low snap, digs it out. Alcorn drops 2 steps, throws a home run ball way up high. Gerald isn't near it, but Daniel Brash catches it, and it's touchdown time in Texas. And there's no time left on the clock, but, that's a nice way to finish this game.
Yeah, it takes that extra touchdown off the board that Frisco tried to score when they could have downed it earlier. Now look what it got you, Frisco.
For a Lions score.
Wow.
Sorry, I just think it's – I understand you got to possibly talk about tiebreakers, but at some point you got to teach your kids class. And kneeling it down there when you got a sure victory is a way to teach class. Now look what you got you. All you did was postpone the game longer and allow McKinney to get an extra touchdown.
The extra point by Bernard is good, and this ball game's over.
And the kick is good.
31-21, and it was a lot closer. It was a lot closer. We want to say thanks to Jared Foyt and everyone up here in the booth. 31-21.
Let's not forget John. Just going to throw that out there right now.
Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Brought to you by
Singing the blues a little bit tonight are the McKinney Lions.
No, we are too.
Losers by 10 points here at Memorial Stadium in Frisco, 31-21. This obviously the most high-scoring game that we have seen from these two teams. They've only met twice other than tonight. The first meeting between the two programs was back in 2004. McKinney won 7-3. With 8 seconds left to go, Wimbish scored. The only time McKinney led that entire night. Last year, 16-15. And it was Frisco scoring with 8 seconds left to go in that game and won it. Tonight, a little different. And maybe it could have turned out very similar, but fumbles and costly penalties cost the McKinney Lions, and they lose tonight 31-21. Coach Todd McVeigh, who now falls to 16-21 as a head coach here at McKinney, is talking to his team down in the sidelines, and we'll have John Leidy try to talk to him along with maybe some players, maybe Coestas, maybe Major McGee. We'll kind of let John pick and choose who he has down there. And John, let me know when you're ready to go with Coach Todd McVeigh.
Yes, I'm down here with McKinney Lions head coach Todd McVeigh. That was a very emotional game. Can you tell us your feelings about that?
Emotional is right. It's a tale of two halves. We come out in the first half, we didn't play up to tempo of them, and then we finally settled in. And, in the second half, we created a bunch of turnovers for ourselves, and we turned it over. And, just too many mistakes to win a football game against a good football team like that. And we've got to correct that in practice this week.
You spoke in your post-game speech here about how you liked the effort and you wanted to put it all together in one whole.
Well, I told them like 3 weeks ago, I don't know if we would have gotten that effort because we're growing up as a football team, it's a varsity team, and learning that, I think we played 2.5, and we've got to finish that out, and then we've got to get that worked out next week when we play on next Friday night.
Well, good luck next week, sir. Thank you. I'm also here with number 17, defensive lineman for the McKinney Lions, Major McGee. How do you feel about tonight's game, sir?
I feel that we played pretty good in the last second half, but the first half we couldn't take care of the turnovers that we had, and Frisco's a pretty good team.
Ask him
that
about.
Was also emotional roller coaster in the second half. It was up and down, momentum swinging both ways. You played a big part in that, in forcing fumbles and recovering fumbles. How do you feel about that?
Well, like I said before, offense or the team couldn't take care of take advantage of the turnovers, and Frisco's a pretty good team, so we had to play harder, gave a good effort, but game plan didn't work like we wanted it to. I had to play next week.
Well, good luck next week, sir. Thank you. Back up to y'all, guys.
All right, thank you very much, John Leidy. Obviously, a depleted Todd McVay and Major McGee. Obviously, though, if you listen to Todd McVay, he wasn't too down. I mean, he's still excited about his football team, obviously, and he's excited about, the possible chances of still making the playoffs, but now it gets a little tighter for the McKinney Lions. They have 2 district losses and only 1 win, and they still have to play a pretty thick schedule of Lake Dallas and the Colony and teams like that. They're basically going to have to run the table.
Yeah, and the 2 things that make you feel a lot better is how you finish this game to start with, but also how you got along the way. I mean, you look at Zane Alcorn, he had over 200 yards passing, you had a 100-yard rusher. If you could have just worked on your rushing defense a little more and stopped the turnovers, think about it. If all you have to do is work on those 2 things for next week to refine what you did this week, it could be worse. If you look at it that way, it could be worse. In fact, it could be a lot worse. Well, so, there's at least a little room for some enthusiasm.
The good news is that they do not have to face Chase Barrett or Brogan Funderburg here on out. So the schedule gets a little easier for the McKinney Lions. However, they must take care of business to stay in the hunt.
Yeah.
31-21, Frisco beats McKinney tonight. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.